Hey, what's up guys? This is LionChief here and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mike and we're going to be doing another review video today. As you can see on the screen in front of you, we're back on Lionel's website, and that's for a very special reason, because today we are going to be reviewing the brand new 2022 Volume 1 catalog from Lionel. We also have the American Flyer 2022 catalog as well, but we're going to look at that at another time because both of these catalogs are going to be promising some very good stuff coming out this year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the brand new Lionel 2022 Volume 1 catalog. Okay, starting off with our first page here, which is of course the cover, we have the new star of the show of 2022, and that of course is the brand new model of the Norfolk & Western Class A number 1218. As you can see, it's a very dynamic picture, but a little bit more on the model a little later. So let's go ahead and jump into our first page here. All right, starting off, we got our table of content here, and we also got a little video, which I'm not going to play because I don't want to get sued for copyright. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourselves, I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description. So in case you guys have seen leaked pictures of this item here, this, of course, is the brand new Lionel Base 3 and Cab 3 app and control system that you can use to control trains on your phone. And this will include trains such as Legacy, Trainmaster Command Control, LionChief Plus, LionChief Plus 2.0, LionChief, and of course American Flyer Chief. Now, just by looking at the base here, we can see that there is a very beautiful representation of the Hellgate Bridge on the side here. And we also have some very great features with this module system. So again, if you guys want to go ahead and read about some of those features, you can either pause the video or go check the catalog out for yourselves. Like I said, I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description. Alright, so we have a sneak peek of our first engine here up on our screen, and I apologize if the photo doesn't come out too well on the video. And don't worry, you're going to be seeing this locomotive in just a second, so just hang in there. But anyway, next up we have our Class A locomotive, now featuring whistle steam, or whistle smoke I should say. It's also got some very nice features as well. And it's just a very beautiful, locomotive nonetheless. I know I say that a lot with a lot of my videos and a lot of my engines that I see, but I honestly think this is a very beautiful engine nonetheless. But anyway, here we have our 5 different paint schemes here. I'm not really too sure how I feel about that Norfolk & Western J paint scheme up top. But we also have an unpainted model, and we also have a couple of black versions down at the bottom here. Alright, moving to our next page here, we have some very nice looking stock cars in some very attractive looking paint schemes. And a good thing about these is that these can be run on 031 track, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and also you can either get a 3-pack or buy each car separately. And just like with the O-scale boxcars, these stock cars here will feature additional sounds, including pigs making noises as the train goes around the layout. And as always, it's always really nice to see that Lionel is starting to branch out into newer sound systems, because I'm honestly getting tired of listening to the same sounds over and over again. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump over to our next page here. Alright, next we got some Berkshires here, and without going into all the road names here, we have a couple of nice ones, including Boston and Albany and Chicago Northwestern. We also have some very nice looking Atlantics. Here we have those 060 switchers that I've been trying to show you earlier before. We got some 040s. And next up we have our diesel section. Here we have some of the features inside the locomotive. Alright, so right up front we have some RS-27s. And these are actually pretty new paint schemes, if I'm not mistaken. Now, just like with the Berkshires and the 060s, these engines are also going to be very pricey, just like in last year's catalog. But other than that, we have some SW1 switchers. And we also have some ES44 AC type diesel locomotives. So these are really nice. We got this very beautiful looking BNSF on the left side of the catalog here. And without going into the other road names, these are very nice looking locomotives. We also have some ST40-2s and paint schemes which I never seen before. Now the Burlington Northern is nothing too original, but some of the other paint schemes here are basically newer. Here we have some more SD90 Max in some military paint schemes. One of them is, of course, Canadian Pacific. Well, they're all basically Canadian Pacific, but you guys know what I'm talking about. We have some more Canadian Pacifics here, including a very interesting looking Norfolk Southern in a Union Pacific paint scheme. Not really sure what that's all about. But we also have Rio Grande, and at the bottom we have this EMO type locomotive. So that's pretty cool. And it's brand new tooling and basically all new, like it says on the page here. So nothing really too specific to mention about these. Next up, we have some F40PHs, which are brand new by Lionel. And we also have the matching passenger cars to go with these diesels. We also have this very nice looking CSX business train, painted in Baltimore and Ohio colors here. And then this next one, this is the train we've all been waiting for, guys. We know that Lionel has introduced the cars last year, but this time around, we finally get our first look at the new Lionel Rio Grande ski train. And this was the engine I was really looking forward to seeing in this catalog, and I'm really happy that Lionel has finally come out and showed us what the engine is going to look like this year. We also have a little button here which will show you what the engine is going to sound like. But once again, I'm not going to show you guys that because, again, copyright issues, so I'd rather you guys go ahead and check that out for yourselves. But anyway, we have some cabbage locomotives, which is a very interesting name for a diesel engine, which I'm not really too familiar with. But anyway, we also have these very nice looking F7 units. We got a yellow Santa Fe with some blue decals, along with a Lehigh Valley version. What's interesting to note about these two units is that the Santa Fe can run on 031, but the Lehigh Valley version can only run on 036, which is interesting. So I guess we'll have to wait until these two locomotives come out and see how they operate. But as for the features, we have some very cool operating headlights on each side of the locomotive. We also have a very cool operating smoke unit on top, not only on the powered unit, but also the dummy unit as well. And then down at the bottom, we have the matching B units for these engines. Now, as for these engines, I don't really have any interest in picking either of them up, because I already have a set of F7 locomotives, which were made by Lionel back around 2006. But I do really like these paint schemes nonetheless, so maybe I'll reconsider down the road maybe. But interestingly enough, we have probably our first model of an F9 AB unit here. This one at the top is the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western unit. And then down at the bottom, we have this very sharp looking Reading and Western locomotive in a black and gray paint scheme. And then down at the bottom, we have the matching passenger car set for the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western. And this locomotive, just like with the A unit, the B unit also features a smoke unit. Now, nothing too spectacular about the passenger cars down at the bottom, because like I mentioned in my previous video, it's basically a reprint of one of the original, Pullman cars, which were made by Lionel in the 90s, so it's just a reproduction with a newer paint scheme on it, so nothing too particular to mention about that. But these F9 units are actually really nice. Now, I don't really have any interest in these locomotives either, but like I said, these paint schemes are really nice, and I really like how Lionel's branching into newer road names. But anyway, next up we have this Union Pacific rocket booster train set, which features a very long line of cars here, as you can see. And on these cars, we have some pieces which you can assemble to build this very nice looking rocket, which you see on the right side of the catalog here. The article mentions that this rocket section loads on each flat car can be removed and assembled in 30 inches tall scale rocket booster model. Alrighty, next up we have a brand new passenger set headed by a Black River and Western Excursion train set. And then down at the bottom we have a freight train headed by a very handsome looking Norfolk Southern 40th Anniversary Edition set. And also with the set we have a very nice looking bay window Norfolk Southern smoking caboose. And it's always very nice to see these smoking cabooses coming back from time to time. But anyway, next up we have our wood-sided coaches. And then right over here we have our 2-pack of hoppers. And without going into all the road names here, we have some very nice ones, including Norfolk and Western, Virginian, Baltimore to Ohio, and Pennsylvania, just to name a couple. And then down at the bottom we have our 2-pack of passenger cars. So if you guys want to go ahead and pause the video and check out some of the features, go for it. But anyway, I'm just going to move on for now. And right over here on this page, we have some coil cars. And then on the next page here, we have our coil cars, but this time, these cars actually have graffiti graphics on them. And again, if you guys see that the photo doesn't come out too well, I apologize again. But it's not the end of the world. You guys could still check this out on their website. And the picture on the catalog here will come out way perfectly than what it does on my video here. But we do have some very nice looking paint schemes. We have this Bethlehem steel car, as well as this very nice looking BNSF brown coil car, which is pretty cool. I don't have any interest in these either because I already have a couple coil cars in my collection. But it's still very nice to see that Lionel is offering some more coil cars in its rolling stock inventory. Okay, now my video jumped ahead a little too soon, but we did see some box cars which feature some lighted up American flags on the side, as well as some double door box cars with some opening doors on each side of the box car as well. But over here we have some bobber cabooses, which are pretty unique, and these are required for 027 track. And then on the right side we have some very nice looking bay window cabooses, which are required for 031. And just like with the Norfolk Southern caboose, which I've shown you guys before, these cabooses will feature smoke coming out of the smokestack. Okay, next up we got some standard O cars here, as you can see. We also have some center beam flat cars. We also have some flat cars with stakes on top, which I actually do like these cars a lot. We also got some more cars at the bottom, as well as some standard O box cars. Here we got some more standard O cars as well. And we got some more hoppers here, which have paint schemes which I don't remember seeing on in the 2021 catalog last year. So these are actually pretty nice. And last, but certainly not least, we have a little teaser for our traditional O-scale items here. We also have our information on LionChief Plus 2.0. Alright, starting off with our first LionChief Plus locomotive here, we have some very nice looking paint schemes for our Pacific engine. We got Reading and Northern, Lehigh Valley, and Rio Grande. Now, the only locomotive that is not an original paint scheme is the Baltimore and Ohio. But other than that, these are pretty cool paint schemes. And I'm starting to lean towards the Lehigh Valley here, although the Reading and Northern Pacific here is also really nice as well. Next up, we have our Hudson section. We have New York Central, Union Pacific, Santa Fe, and of course Lionel lines. And then for the GP20s, we have Santa Fe, Milwaukee Road, Conrail, and Burlington Northern. And these beautiful locomotives also do feature very nice looking detail as well as a smoke unit. Now the Hudsons here are basically reprints from last year, but the GP20s are brand new. Moving along, we have some brand new doodlebugs. We got some very nice looking attractive paint schemes, including Santa Fe, Union Pacific, Pennsylvania, and Northern in Pennsylvania. And then on the right side here, we have some very nice looking new paint schemes for the Amtrak Genesis. Now these paint schemes, as you can see, are made to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Amtrak, starting in 1971 and all the way up to 2021. But of course, this is 2022, so there's still plenty of time to celebrate with these engines. Also down at the bottom, we have a original Amtrak paint scheme and a classic Amtrak paint scheme. Next up, we have some reissues of the Genesis, which was introduced last year. And we also have down at the bottom here a passenger set, which you can also purchase. Now, one thing to point out, there are going to be some people that are going to be complaining about this engine in particular. I know I've heard a couple of early last year that mentioned that these versions of the Genesis are not as crisp like the Premier Genesis, which MTH put out a couple of years ago. But I totally understand the complaints and concerns about these engines. You know, they're not going to be for everybody, but at least some people will be happy to see that Lionel is offering them. But moving on, we have some more passenger cars here. And next up here, which is something I was totally shocked by, this is the very first LionChief Plus Pennsylvania Turbine set, which features 2.0 sound system. And it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like they're reusing some of MTH's tooling. I'm not really sure if they bought the original tooling from the starter sets. But as you can see, we have a very nice looking 6200 Pennsylvania turbine with a very prototypical Brunswick green paint scheme. This set also comes with a boxcar, a flat car with a girder bridge on top, a hopper car, and a very nice looking Pennsylvania porthole caboose. So I'm going to keep my eye out for this train set when it releases. And then moving along to our next couple pages here, there's nothing too new or original here, so I'm just going to quickly skip over some of this stuff. Here we have Thomas the Tank Engine, Toy Story, some Disney stuff, Pixar, Frozen. You know, basically all the starter sets that you would buy for your kids if your kids would really like to get into the hobby of model trains. Then we have some Halloween stuff here. We got some NASA stuff. We also had some Budweiser train sets. And then next up, we have the Great Locomotive Chase Deluxe LionChief Plus Bluetooth train set, which features 2 generals. And then down at the bottom, we have some freight cars to go with the set. And then the next page here, we have a Lionel Lines train set, which is taking the form of a traditional Lionel post-war starter set. We have the Gateman, we got some more accessories. Here we have some more flyer sets. And of course you have the activation button here, which you can press while looking at the engines on their website here. We also got a graffiti set. We got an emergency responder LionChief Plus set. We also got a firehouse down at the bottom. Then we got this very nice looking Santa Fe set, which is always an all-time classic. We got a military set here. And then next up, we have some brand new Lionel 44-ton switchers, We got some really cool paint schemes, including Pennsylvania, Santa Fe. We also have a Ford 44-ton switcher. We also got a Marine Corps version and an Amtrak version. And then on the right side here, we have some Dash 8s, including a BNSF, Norfolk Southern, CSX, and of course my favorite, Union Pacific. Now, if you guys have any interest in any of these locomotives, make sure you get them while they last on Lionel's website. Because once these engines sell out, they're going to be a little hard to track down. But anyway, next up we have some U36Bs, which were introduced last year. We also got some brand new trolleys on the right side here, including this very nice looking graffiti trolley down at the bottom. And then we got more of our traditional Looney Tune and Batman stuff, so I'm just going to skip over some of this, because we've already seen this stuff like 1,000 times over the past couple of years. Next up, we got our Christmas items. Polar Express, I don't really care too much for. I mean, I love the movie, but I have no interest in any Polar Express train sets. We got some Disney Christmas stuff. Winter Wonderland. Some winter accessories. Got some Ford accessories. Some newer buildings and vehicles. Got some plug-and-play stuff, which is pretty cool. We got some stuff which was featured last year as well. Here we got some bridges, some tunnel portals, some barrels, some signs. Which reminds me, I also need to get another set of Lionel streetlights here. Got some more figures. Got some construction workers. Tracks and switches. We also got some layout options, which is always very helpful for somebody who's getting into the hobby. Alright, next up we have the teaser for the 2022 American Flyer digital catalog here. To view the digital catalog, visit Lionel's website at www.lionel.com, which is what we are on right now. But like I said, we're going to take a look at that at another time. All right, here we have a little teaser for some of our HO stuff here, as well as our ready-to-play train sets. And of course, some advertisements for the Lionel Club, or the Lionel Collectors Club of America. Alright, so that's about it. Alright, so now that we're at the end of the catalog here, let me just take a couple minutes to talk about some of my thoughts and opinions on some of the items in this catalog versus some of the items that were featured in last year's catalog. Let's start off by talking about the positive side of things. Now, the one thing I really did like about this catalog is that Lionel has finally come out with their very first model of the Rio Grande ski train. I think that's going to be a really great hit when it releases. And I'm also really enjoying what they're doing with LionChief Plus, such as the 44-ton switchers, as well as their new release of the Pennsylvania S2 turbine. Now, I think it's a really great idea that Lionel is offering it this time in LionChief Plus mode, and it's been a couple years since Lionel has made an S2 turbine, especially in O-gauge, and especially for 031 tracks as well. So I think that's going to be a huge hit as well. Now on to the negative side, is that some of the items, actually most of the items in this catalog are still very pricey. Now I think Lionel has kind of adjusted the price a little bit to a degree, but I feel like that's definitely something they still gotta keep working on. And my only hope is that they don't really reuse older sounds from like the past, because Lionel has been doing that ever since last year and the year before, and it started getting a little tiring. So I'm really hoping that Lionel actually has a new catalog of sound systems to work with. But overall, I thought this was a really good catalog, and while it might not be anything too spectacular, I did enjoy it more than I did with the 2021 catalog from last year. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little review I put together. It was a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell down below for any other projects that I upload. And if you guys want to reread the catalog here, I'll leave a link down in the description to Lionel's website, so that way you guys can go check it out. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next episode. Thanks again, and take care.